Next one we got up here is a Mack. It's got an AC leak, so we're going to pull it up on the side of the shop up there and see where we got the leak coming from. So I'm sitting here in the cab and I just see the whole hood rock. Chris walks up to this passenger door, wasn't paying attention, walking by the truck, and just smoked his head on the mirror. I thought he was trying to flip the hood and then forgot it was locked. So we hooked a set of manual gauges to the truck here. And the compressor is cycling when we command on AC. We're seeing about 20 pounds on the low side, about 150, 160 on the high side. So that tells us right away we have a low charge in this. Not blowing cold air out of the AC. Obviously was the initial complaint with it. So now what we're doing here is I've got it hooked up to the AC machine. We are going to recover the charge that's in it and see what the weight of the recovery is on it. That'll give us an idea of how much we've lost approximately. Now, we did take the AC sniffer and went over the entire AC system, and it's not leaking at this point. So we are going to put a full charge in it with dye, and then we are going to run the system with a full charge and run the AC sniffer over it again. There is a chance that we are at a low enough system pressure that it was no longer leaking at that point. But on the off chance that we still aren't going to be able to pick up the leak with the sniffer, that is why we're introducing dye into the system too. So, fluorescent AC dye. If there's a leak somewhere, that stuff will work its way out and then glow. We can hit it with a UV light, then it'll just glow. So it'll make it a lot easier for us to find the leak if the sniffer won't find it. So, that's the plan right now. It's going to take this thing probably 10 to 15 minutes to fully recover the system. And then once we're done with it, without sleeper, 3 pounds of refrigerant is what this truck takes. And this truck does not have a sleeper. So we'll hop back on the video here in a minute once we get this thing recovered, and we'll see what the actual weight that comes out of it is. So we vacuumed the truck down here. It only recovered 0.33 of a pound, so 1/3 of a pound of refrigerant from a 3-pound system. So that explains also why we weren't really catching anything off of our leak tester. If it's gotten that low and leaked that much out over time, it only really picks it up if you have a decent concentration of the gas coming out consistently. So we did go ahead and put the dye back in just to be safe. And we're getting ready to charge the truck up to 3 pounds, and we'll continue looking for our leak. So we're back from our test drive here, and we can see something down the side of the compressor here, but you never want to assume that that's the problem. You want to, verify your repairs. We've got a little bit of green dye leaking out right around the edge here, and this fitting is now tripping when we run the sniffer over it, that there's refrigerant coming out of there. So we already checked the line. It is tight. It's not like the nut on it's loose. So we're going to go ahead and pull a vacuum back on the system, pull all the charge out of it, take that line off, and we're going to check the O-ring on it. My guess is that O-ring is going to be torn. So we have a new green O-ring on there, AC O-ring. The O-ring was completely gone, so most likely got sucked through the compressor. But hopefully this will have our AC leak fixed. I don't think that we'd have more than one leak on this truck, especially with an O-ring that's gone, but only one way to find out. We're gonna have to put it back together, back the system down, charge it again, and then retest for leaks. But just in the little bit of time that we had refrigerant in it to find that leak, we lost over 1/10 of a pound. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed, and this is kind of tight going on there. Alright, there we go. Just finished charging the truck up here. Got the caps back on the ports. Machine's clearing out the hoses right now. So we're gonna climb up here. Got the AC on full. vent temps are already coming down. We did have working AC when I recharged it, but we had the leak, so we're gonna let the truck sit and run for a little while here with the AC on. Then we'll recheck for the leak, but seeing that we had no O-ring, it had broken and been sucked through the compressor, I'm gonna say it's gonna fix the leak in the AC system. We've got ice cold air inside the truck. I sprayed off the whole area with brake clean. It's condensating a little bit, but we shut the truck off for a minute, turn it back on. Last time when we shut it off, we put our hand on that hose and tried to move it a little bit. You could hear it hissing out of there. So far the sniffer hasn't re-picked up any leak coming out of the fitting right there. So I'm gonna say we're pretty good. I'm still gonna let the truck sit out here and run for a while, but that should be good. I mean, it ran for maybe 2 minutes before, and we lost 1/10 of a pound of refrigerant. So I'll let it sit out here and idle for a little while, but I think we got this one fixed up.